Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to the Canis Major Deal blog, our weekly blog where we talk about commercial real estate and commercial multifamily real estate investing opportunities across the state of Texas. Each week we take a look at a particular deal, sometimes a good deal, sometimes a bad deal, or sometimes we even look at a strategy used to make money actively or passively investing in commercial multifamily real estate investments. This week, we have a very special case study we're going to review called the Henderson Ranch Apartments. And this is going to be presented by the deal sponsor for that project, Siva Palchuru. And Siva, are you on the line here?
Yes, Phil.
Well, Siva, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Phil. I really appreciate that. Today we are going to talk about Henderson Ranch Apartments. And by the way, my name is Siva Palchuru, and I did my PhD in chemistry and came here to the United States for Texas to do a postdoc at Texas A&M, and then I moved on to Rice University. And then from there, I moved on to the private industry to do the environmental consulting company. And then I invested, I sold the company, and then I started investing in real estate since 2008, mainly to pursue for passive income in pursuit of that. So started working with Phil and Chenova in 2015, became sponsor of Canis Major Incubator in January 2017. So we are going to talk today about also my other projects, that what I did. In 2011, we acquired Elam Townhomes in the similar fashion of this value add opportunity, and we are still having that. We'll talk about that later. While at Townhomes, we acquired that property in 2013, and then we sold that in 2015 after we did all the improvements. La Plaza Apartments we acquired in 2014, and we are still continuing on that project. Henderson Apartments acquired in 2015, and then we sold it in August 2017. This is what we are going to talk more. And then the remaining projects all acquired in this year. We even acquired some of the portfolio of single-family homes as a commercial deals because they had to be evaluated as commercials. Let's come back here and talk about the Henderson Apartments. This property we actually identified through our broker network. This property, as shown in the picture, it's south of Houston. It's the Angleton city. It is very close to chemical hub of Freeport. You have BASF, you have Dow Chemical, you have Nalco Exxon, you have also some of the greatest refineries in the world are located here, like Phillips 66 is not too far from there. So there is a employment growth. There is a new development. I think almost recently $5 billion is coming into this area. That's another reason why we actually took on this project. Talking about this specific apartment complex, this project is actually built in 1975. It's a garden-style apartment, and it's located, as I mentioned to you, Angleton, Texas. It consists of 13 buildings and an individual office. It is a mix of brick veneer, wood siding, and stucco. It has originally constructed for 152 units. Apparently, the seller decided to use nearly about 20 units for his personal storage space. And then 16 of the other building got fire damaged. So he got ultimately 44 completely down units, which are not generating the money. And at that time of we take over, the occupancy was actually less than 70%. It requires a significant of deferred maintenance, and you name it, we got it. We have every issue that we have. This property, I call it as a Class D property, which we are going to show some pictures very well, but it is actually located in a Class B neighborhood. The repair, we did the foundation repair, we did the soil grading, landscaping, new signage. We completely replaced the roofs. We replaced the exterior siding. We put in the brand new windows, which were windstorm protected, and we renovated all down units to get upgraded units. And we also renovated all fire damaged units. So now it is a 152 unit operable apartment complex. So you could see here, specifically what I'm showing is the wood here, and especially if you come here, the wood is actually rotted. And this balcony is also actually not that stable. And if you look at it, every window has a problem. The water actually leaks through that. And also, if you look at it, the roof itself has some tarp on it. So they're actually protecting the roof by having a tarp. And if you come here, the water, when it rains, water actually goes into the building rather than coming outside the building, because if you look at it, the soil is actually graded towards the building, not away from the building. Also, it is very evident that the stucco has actually fallen apart, and then they replaced with that, and they didn't do a good job. So that's why I'm mentioning it to you that this complex requires everything: windows, siding, stucco, roof, foundation, you name it, we got it. That's one of the things. So then these are the newly renovated units, and here we have we changed this with exterior new windows, siding was installed, the balconies were installed, the staircases were installed. We have new electrical placements were there. So everything we did what we're supposed to do. So now we have a increased. If you look, then we look at the interior. This is the stage where the previous owner had almost 20 units that he was using as a storage. So we actually took a every up unit and we changed it to a different. This is actually a picture at the time the tenant was living in this type of apartment. And this is, I call it as subpar, and that's why we said this is a Class D apartment complex at that time. And then we spent a lot of money to renovate the property. So interior-wise, we actually put in the ceramic tile. We put in the new kitchen cabinets with the new countertops. We also replaced the fixtures with nickel brush fixtures. We put in built-in microwave as well as the new dishwasher. We also put in ceiling light fixtures, if you can see that. And in the bedrooms, we put in the carpet and the ceiling light fixture. So in the same way, you can see that in the master bedroom, we also put in the vanities. So this is actually a good light fixture here. So this was allowing us to higher rental increases. So just to mention this, this is our original projections. If we would have continued the same operation, what the previous owner was doing, with a little bit money spent, we would be getting our total income, gross income was around $96,000. This is where it is. But what we did is we thought about we could change this to here, 115, which is basically almost $20,000 higher. But as we operating the project, we are seeing higher rents and higher rents. So we thought that we could able to take this to this level by spending a little bit more money. So, and ultimately we actually reached, by the time we actually sold this property, we were at $122,000. So to give a specific example here, on a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, 2x2 apartment, it's a 850 square feet. Previous seller is giving at $685 rent. We could able to give that for $1,025 rent. What it really means is the difference between these two is $340 per month. That means $4,000 is the difference per year. So if I take that on a cap rate, how we evaluate the apartment complexes is the net operating income divided by cap rate. So here we are increasing the income by $4,000, and if I use a 10 cap, I increase just the valuation on this property by $40,000. And that's only one, but also if you look at as I go down, every apartment has been increased value by so much. And so even if you come here, this is a partial upgrade. We increased from $499 to $699. That means we actually increased by $200, where the per year it is at $2,400. And if I divide the same cap rate with 10, I achieved $25,000 higher rent, higher valuation. On an average, we spent $12,500 per apartment. So, and we increased on an average actually $30,000. So that's a significant increase on the property, the valuation. So to give a picture of overall picture, this is a Class D property. It requires a very dire need of everything. So we bought it at a very low value. It's a 152 unit property. We purchased at $4.1 million. And our investors brought in $1.1 million. The rehab budget, which was actually built into the loan, which was around $2 million. And our holding cost and syndication cost costed around $490,000. So the total cost came out to be $7.690. And we were able to sell this at $8.75 million. And the total capital return to the original investors was 1.1, and then the gain was 1.06 million, and the return on investment to our initial investors was 96.36%. So this was originally planned in our original PPM for this project. We projected a 10% cash-on-cash return with annual returns after year 2. And at that time, we also projected to have a refinancing is going to happen. So we thought we are going to give 40% capital back to the investors. But then finally, we sold it to a new syndication, which they actually, the original investors stayed back in the new syndication. And also they actually, cashed out at 96% of returns. With that, this is what it happens if we go after the value properties. There is a significant value that can be added to the property where originally that was not seen by anyone. So we actually basically forced the appreciation by improving the property from all aspects. And with that, thank you very much for being here. And Phil, do you have any questions or anything?
Well, I mean, obviously, this was a home run of a deal. It overperformed the projection. You were expecting after 2 years to start paying returns to your investors, and in less than 2 years, you're able to actually give all your investors all their money back, and then almost twice their money back. They almost we came very close to getting 100% return on the investment in under 2 years. So that was a pretty awesome deal. And obviously, as you got into this project, you saw some opportunities that kind of created themselves along the way. It sounds like you increased the rents probably even faster than you thought you could or had conservatively projected you could, which was awesome. It sounds like you took the property further than eventually you originally you thought you could. I think you originally thought you were going to take this from a Class D to a Class C. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then by taking it to a Class B, you were able to get much more rent and much more return even than that.
That's correct. That's where all the forced appreciation came much higher because of the conversion could able to make it possible. If you go back and look at that, go.
Well, I was just going to say, so what other lessons did you learn from this whole deal?
It's very, this is a huge rehab. But also, if you go back onto the previous slides, that I will tell you one great example here. Oh, sorry, I was going backwards. Just give me 1 second. So I need to go back to the pictures. Sorry. So if you look at these pictures are actually not showing, it has a lot of damage. So we know that. What we didn't know is, we didn't know anything about these windows that needs to be replaced because these don't follow the windstorm new regulations. When this was originally built, the windstorm regulations were not there. So we didn't have budgeted in our original budget for these windows. But then, in order to bring it to here, we had to go back and get these windows done. So windows, it costed us $140,000, all the windows together. So that was not in our original budget. But everything else, pretty much, we got covered because we know what originally planned for because it's already exposed. The other surprise came in a very positive way is, as you mentioned, originally our plan was converting from Class D to Class C. But as we start renting, we could able to rent it higher, and the tenants were able to pay higher rents. So we actually took from, not from Class D to Class C, but we took from Class D to Class B, B as in boy. And that's where the huge returns paid off. So that's what it is.
Sorry, I had my phone on mute. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for presenting this awesome project. And we look forward to hearing about more of your projects in the future. So thank you again, Siva. And again, everybody, thank you for joining us for the Canis Major Deal blog. That was our deal of the week. Thank you all.